A character so amazing that he will leave you speechless. Today we're raising our mugs of ale to the wonderful character of Morn. Following the Cardassian withdrawal from Bajor, visitors to the former Cardassian mining station TrekLore, now called Deep Space Nine by the newly installed Starfleet administration, would often see a number of regular customers imbibing a drink or 10 at Quark's bar, grill, gaming house, and holosuite arcade. Among these regulars was a Lurian courier named Morn. Often described by Quark as his best customer, Morn was a regular fixture aboard DS9. He would often be seen enjoying the gambling, drinking, and nightlife that Quark's had to offer. The benefit he brought to Quark's business was not just through his own patronage. Customers enjoyed seeing him there as well, seeing him as a comforting presence. This was such the case that when Morn was away from the station, Quark reported that his revenue would often drop by as much as 5%. In order to avoid these losses, Quark sometimes displayed a hologram of the Lurian barfly during times that Morn was away from the station. Morn was extremely talkative, and one could often find themselves accidentally drawn into a protracted conversation with him. He would often talk about minute details of his life. For example, he would often go on for hours about his family, most notably his large number of siblings.
Oh. 17 brothers and sisters. Oh, wow. That's quite a family.
Morn was considered quite the ladies' man. He would often be seen with a beautiful woman on his arm, and even asked out Jadzia Dax on one occasion. Dax refused, but remarked that the 5 or 6 wiry hairs coming out of his head made him look kinda cute. Later on, Jadzia relented, in fact asking Morn out herself. Morn, in turn, refused. Gotta say, you should have snatched him up when you had the chance. Morn often entered into business with Quark, on one notable occasion organizing a Vol fighting ring with the Ferengi bartender. Deep Space Nine's chief of security, Odo, discovered Morn painting numbers on the Vol's backs. He promptly put an end to the attempted fighting ring. On another occasion, Morn appeared to be a cooperating accomplice in Quark's attempt to con a young Starfleet ensign, Harry Kim, into buying worthless low-buy crystals.
I do carry a select line of unique artifacts and gemstones indigenous to this region. Why, quite recently, I acquired these low-buy crystals from a very strange creature called a Morn.
Also, on occasions when Quark was away from the station, he would often leave Morn in charge of his bar. Hopefully he wouldn't drink up too much of the Ferengi's profits. Shortly before the Dominion War, Morn experienced an uncharacteristic mental breakdown. Hearing Quark predict doom and gloom with thoughts of an impending Dominion invasion of the station, Morn hit Quark with a bar stool and ran screaming from Quark's place, yelling, "We're all doomed." He was shortly thereafter found by Station First Officer Kira Nerys stark naked in the Bajoran temple, crying out to the prophets for salvation. Despite this lapse, when the expected invasion and subsequent Dominion occupation of the station did finally occur, Morn displayed exceptional bravery in the face of the enemy. In fact, his actions were instrumental in turning the tide of the war and allowing the Starfleet recapture of the station. In early 2374, the only thing standing between the Alpha Quadrant and thousands of Dominion reinforcements was the minefield that Captain Benjamin Sisko had erected before abandoning DS9 to the Dominion. While plans to retake the station were underway, the Federation and Klingon fleets were not yet ready to make their move. However, the Dominion forces had conducted a number of successful tests in disabling the mines that isolated the wormhole. With communications in and out of the station tightly controlled, Resistance members aboard the station were desperate to get this news to Captain Sisko at Starbase 375. Thankfully, Morn, ignoring Quark's advice, was planning to visit his mother on the occasion of her birthday. The Resistance convinced him to smuggle a message out to Sisko in the gift he was carrying for his mother. Thanks to this vital intelligence, the attack on TrekLore was launched early, allowing Sisko and his forces to retake the station and once again plant the Federation's flag there. Later that same year, Morn was presumed dead when his ship was caught in an ion storm and destroyed. According to his will, Quark was the sole beneficiary of everything that Morn owned. 4 cargo containers of Levanian beets, which had gone rotten, his mud bath bed, a painting of a matador that Morn had won at an auction a year earlier, and 1,000 bricks of gold-pressed latinum. The gold-pressed latinum was the loot from the infamous Lesepian Mother's Day heist of 2365, for which the statute of limitations had just recently expired. Morn's fellow co-conspirators were after the latinum, and Morn had used Quark as a pawn to get them off his back. Quark soon discovered that the latinum had been extracted from all the bricks, and they were nothing but worthless gold. Indeed, Morn had actually faked his own death, and once his fellow thieves were in custody, he revealed himself to Quark, explaining his plan. For his troubles, Morn regurgitated a quantity of the extracted liquid latinum, which he had stored in his second stomach, explaining once and for all why he had lost nearly all of his hair. Despite the fact that Morn was not a member of Starfleet or the Bajoran militia, many of the crew of Deep Space Nine felt him to be an invaluable presence aboard the station. While he could never quite get the hang of darts, Miles O'Brien and Julian Bashir did consider inviting him along on one of their many holosuite adventures. He and Worf also often engaged in combat on the holosuite, and Worf considered him to be an excellent sparring partner.
I will apologize for this at a later time. You are in my seat!
All in all, Morn was an invaluable presence aboard the station, touching the lives of many of the station's crew and residents, and Deep Space Nine would not be quite the same place were it not for this Lurian barfly. Morn continues to be an important part of the Deep Space Nine saga, even following the end of the television series. At one point in the post-finale book series, Morn goes missing following the destruction of the original Deep Space Nine. Quark employs a private investigator to track him down, which yields mixed results. The search comes to a head in the novel The Long Mirage by David R. George III, in which Quark discovers that Morn's disappearance has something to do with the malfunctioning Vic Fontaine holoprogram. I won't get deep into spoilers here, but suffice it to say that Morn's contributions to Deep Space Nine certainly don't end with the series finale. Well, there you have it, the history of one of the most critical characters in the entire Star Trek universe. Were there any Morn moments that I missed that you would have liked that I include? Please let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you again next month for another episode of TrekLore. Thank you, of course, to the Patreon supporters for making this video possible. I really do appreciate it. And thanks to everyone else for simply watching the video. Like, share, and subscribe if you feel the video is worthy of it. I'd love it if you shared this with someone you think might enjoy it. I'll see you all in the next video, and in the words of the great Morn himself,